Hello and welcome to the Andrew Richter Show. This is a special edition of the Andrew Richter Show because we are moving. This episode is actually the 99th, and we're going to do the 100th episode of the Andrew Richter Show. So we're happy that you could join us. The other reason that this is a special occasion is because Andrew has chosen to use this program to announce a year in advance his candidacy for mayor of the city of Crystal. So we want to...
I gotta be crazy.
Well, there are crazier people, obviously, that are running for office, and we've seen evidence of that.
No doubt.
But one of the things that I think we ought to start out with is to let people know, Andrew, why you've decided to make this decision and run for mayor.
Well, it's a good question, and to be honest, I don't get a chance to answer it the way I want to a lot of times. Everything gets boiled down into a 30-second or 60-second soundbite or YouTube clip or something, and I rarely get a chance to elaborate and explain why I'm going to choose to do this. First, let me say that Crystal is my hometown. It's where I was born and raised, and I came back to live in Crystal after a while. And so the city is very much just right here in my heart. You know, everything from Crystal Little League, I went to Cooper High School, so on and so forth. And you know, when I look around the city, when I started focusing on local government about 5 years ago or so, I really started to pay attention to what was going on in the cities, the county, the school district, things like that. I really found myself pretty unhappy with some of the decisions that were being made. Unhappy with the level of taxation, unhappy with some of the redevelopment plans that are being talked about and being pushed by who knows who and who knows who's really pulling the strings. Unhappy a little bit with sort of the attitude from the council, generally speaking. And I sort of kept, Mayor Bowman is one of the people that really hasn't been challenged running. She's the only people that have run against her in her 2 times that she's run are Mark Hoffman and Lori Ann Moore, who are both on her council. Oh. And vote with her 95% of the time. And so I feel like a voter, I haven't really been given much choice. And so I found myself wondering, where's the opposition to what the council's doing? Where's my choice as a voter, and why doesn't somebody run against one of these people? And I had it suggested to a few people. I didn't need a whole lot of prodding, but that maybe you need to be the person to do that. I mean, you're the one with the passion and the focus on that, the way other people aren't. And I was a little cool to it at first. I mean, I've been involved in campaigns. I know how much work they are. I know how much time and money it takes. And I really had to think about it. But I sort of weighed the whys against the why nots. And in the end, I couldn't come up with enough reasons to say no. So here we are. And we're going to full speed ahead. No turning back now.
Okay, I know from your shows in the past that you have been somewhat critical of the structure of city government. And I am guessing that you've got some changes in mind that you'd like to see made should you be successful in this campaign.
Yeah, well, one of the things about that is very frustrating is the lack of, one of the founding principles of our nation are checks and balances and separation of powers. Okay, in our city government, in charter cities, you have none of that, which is really a frustration. A lot of people don't know this. People think the mayor acts like a governor or acts like the president and vetoes things, and it gets overridden or held up. And really our cities aren't run that way. Our cities are run, the mayor in Crystal, and it's this way in a lot of the charter cities here in the northwest suburbs, is basically an at-large council person. There is no executive branch, there is no legislative branch. So you have no checks and balances, you have no separation of powers. I mean, imagine if the governor were an at-large legislator. Imagine if the president were an at-large congressman. Imagine if we didn't have a House and Senate. We would never accept that as voters, but we accept it from our local governments for some reason. And I think it would take a rewriting of the charter, but I'm not in favor of being a charter city anyhow. And another thing you'll find is a lot of times the council really isn't running the city. The city is run by the city manager and the finance people and all these people who are sort of the bureaucratic wing of the city is a lot of times really who's in charge. And that's another frustration because they're not directly held accountable to the people. The city manager serves indefinitely. There is no time limit on how long that person can be there. And it's nothing personal against whoever the city managers are. I just think it's a poor way to represent the people. So one thing I would definitely push for is for a separation between the mayor and the council. There should be a process. I mean, you think of it like this. Think of state government. I always get frustrated how slow things move sometimes in St. Paul. But you really think about it, it has to be that way. A bill starts in the House, it gets amended, it goes to the Senate, a lot of times there's a conference committee, and the people are represented each step of the way, and that doesn't happen in city governments. That's a big, big thing I think we need to address and we need to change.